Oh, maybe I'll try it this way. I don't know. Can you see that? This is original Star Trek, and the episode is called Is There in Truth No Beauty? You can get Star Trek on Netflix. And what else do I want to tell you about? Okay, well, what's the story? This is so hard. If I turn the phone this way, it's easy for me to hold, but then you get this narrow view. I'm trying to give you this way, and then my finger keeps getting in the way. Damn it. Okay, so why do I want to talk about this episode of Star Trek? I'm not sure yet, but that's the one that I'm going to watch. Because it's one of the, I mean, I've seen pretty much, I think I've seen all the Star Treks, even this one, multiple times, a Star Trek junkie. But this one I'm not familiar with too much. I'm going to have to need to refresh my memory, so I'm going to call that up. And I was going to talk to you about the truth. And if you follow my channel at all, you know I talk about Earth Ascension quite a bit, raising your consciousness, and the scale of human consciousness, and moving up on the scale. And then what is the truth that I want to tell you? Well, even though I talk about all these things, and you know, different commentators on YouTube talk about expanding your consciousness, um, the average people have no clue. They are totally clued out when it comes to this information, and that's why they're known as the sheeple. And so, what does that mean as far as Earth ascension goes? It pretty much means if anyone's going to ascend to higher dimensions or rapture out of here, it's going to be about, let's say, 1/10 of 1/100th of a percent of the human population. In other words, no one's going to rapture out of Earth plane except for maybe, let's go with 6,500 people, 6,500 people out of a population of 7.5 billion are going to have the capability of going to higher dimensions and doing like the good old fashioned rapture that everyone laughs at. You know, it's like those Left Behind movies that the fundamentalist Christians talk about. So, who are the 6,500 that could potentially leave? Um, those would be the people who have been doing intensive, um, let's just say people who are not like you and me, maybe like Tibetan monks that meditated from the time they were 6 years old, and every day for, I don't know, 10 hours a day. Um, some of these yogis from India, I think they get lazy, you know, like they call themselves yogis and they dress 9/10 naked, but they sit around and they smoke weed all day. They call it chillum. It's weed. They smoke weed all day, and they just sit there in the hot Indian sun. Are they real yogis? I don't think so. I don't think so. So, you know, it's going to be such a teeny tiny minority. We might as well say no one's going to rapture, but there'll be like 6,500 because I muscle tested that. That's what I got. So, um, I'm sorry, we're all going to be stuck around here on planet Earth for a good long time, trying to get along with each other as best as we can without going prematurely gray and becoming alcoholics or drug addicts, or we'll just sit around and smoke weed all the time in those places where weed is legal, and where it's illegal, or just go to our buddy's, you know, he's got a hut in the back 40 of his farm or something, and you can smoke your weed there, chill out. And no one really believes you can rapture, but there's just these stories of these Tibetan monks. They go and they spend, how did they go on retreat, and then they spend a year and a half in a cave in the Himalayas, and just them in the cave and some yak butter, and I guess they melt snow for making tea, and they sit by themselves and vegetate. And I don't want to go to Tibet to a Himalayan cave. I don't like the cold as it is. I'm glad it's March and spring is. I've still got lots of snow, but it's supposed to go up to 50 Fahrenheit tomorrow. That's really good. I like summer. I don't like cold, and the idea of going to the Himalayas with a huge howling wind to sit in a cave for a year and a half, that ain't me. And if that's what it takes in order to rapture out of here, I guess I'm going to be here until I'm, whenever I drop dead. The reason I put on the Rumpelstiltskin hat is apparently Rumpelstiltskin is he used to say he was a fifth dimensional dark elf. And I think elves are known from like Lord of the Rings to live much longer than humans do. How much longer? An average dark elf of the fifth dimension could live to be 600 years old. Rumpel said he was... I can't remember. I thought it was 2,500 years old. Clearly, I'm not getting accurate information as to how old elves can live. Maybe some live forever, but I'm not an elf, and Rumpelstiltskin is, or so he says. Some trees on planet Earth are... I think there's some trees that are like 2,000 years old or more. So they were around at the time of Jesus Christ. Those are very old. I'm not sure if some of these underground mushroom things, I think some of them could be very old. Other than that, I think those trees are probably the oldest thing on the planet. One wants to, I don't know, become reborn, become an elf or something. Oh, okay. So what else do we want to talk about? Well, anyway, as far as this idea of raising your vibration to the point where you have control over when you die, because that's what they say about certain yogis, long-term yogis. When they get old, they just go into meditation, and then what they do is they take their consciousness and they go whoop, and they go right out the top of their head, and then they leave their body behind, but they are the consciousness. And I'm not sure if it's an internal energy body that they take with them, a Buddhic body or something, cosmic body, but that's what they do. They leave their physical body behind, and they go right up the top of their head, and that's what they can do. Some stories, I'm reading a story right now about a Tibetan yogi who can die and then come back to his body and rejuvenate his body. These are just stories for boys and girls. No one really believes that Jesus actually resurrected. It's just it's a myth, and it's to get you signed up to the church so you'll tithe 10% each month. Right? Stay tuned tomorrow, where I'm going to interview someone who's maybe about 55 years old, looks like me, and dreams of a vacation to Jamaica at a time when he's under quarantine and, all the planes have been canceled that go south. 50 degrees is pretty good for March. If you like my videos, please subscribe and share them out.